What is this? Is it another package? Well, yes it is. Hello everybody and welcome to yet another unboxing. If for those who didn't know, we actually did an unboxing just yesterday, aka a few minutes ago, and it's time for the next one. This package here is from none other than the new, I wouldn't say new, but still relatively new on the market, Ant Farm Supply. And we're getting a little business card right here, lovely right here. We can join the Facebook community if that's something we want to do. But what we're taking a look at is the all-new version 2 nests. So for those who remember, about a few weeks back I got my first ever products from Ant Farm Supplies, and I had some feedback. And it was really cool actually talking with Ant Farm Supply because he said, thank you for the feedback, I'll consider it and I'll fix the issues. Which is what I love from stores. When I come with feedback and they actually just accept, okay, valid feedback, I will listen to you. So let's see if that's actually true or not. As you can see, I'm just taking out all of the accessories now. I don't know what I'm taking out. I'm just taking it all out while I'm speaking. But this is what we really like, the nests. So yeah, I'll just continue just removing everything. That's another one. All right, so we ended up having a total of 3 new nests. Now, of course, because you want to see what's in here, and I want to see what's in here, we'll just push it aside and start with all of the other things, because it makes a lot more sense looking at accessories before we look at the products, right? Someone behind the camera is saying no. But either way, here we have some of the first things here. And these here are the magnetic connectors, I think. Oh, just unbox everything. We have some tubes. Okay. I see how it is. We have 3 sets for the 3 nests. So we have 3, so you get this set. I'm guessing you're getting this set with each nest. So that's very lovely. So why do I have 4? Alright, no need to think about that. Let's continue the unboxing. I know we're gonna get a humidity sensor. Oh, well, that was the humidity sensor. So yeah, some of the new things with the version 2 Ant Farm Supply nest is that you can actually get these attachments, these accessories, like the humidity sensor. And I'm guessing we have exactly the same in here. But for the sake of me having to use it, let's unbox it. And, oh wow, it's going very well this. Pretty much just opening everything without any big issues. So how hot is it actually in the room? It's 22 degrees. That's higher than expected, but this package have just been inside the ant room, so it will be interesting to see if this temperature just drops. I would guess it's around 20 in here, because it is quite cold in here, because we are not in the ant room. So we have even more accessories here. So what is this? Okay, I know what this is. You can now get, because the Ant Farm Supply tubing, if we just get one of these tubes right here, Ant Farm Supplies uses quite a small tube. I'm unsure the exact measurement. Oh, well, it says it here on the side. 8 by 11. So Ant Farm Supply is using an 8 by 11 tube. And this does not connect. This is a little bit too big. But for most other products, there's like these 2 standard ranges. There's a small range and then there's the larger range. And the larger range is what I've received right here. It is the 10 by 13, which is commonly used by a lot of products. And what we have right here is an accessory. That means you don't need to use the smaller tube, but you can instead use the larger 10, 13 tube. So that's really cool, because my Novometer Coccarelli, they are having not a hard time finding their way through this, but it's definitely a small tube. So it'll be nice for them to get this little bit bigger tube. Now, finally, we have some things that I'm guessing is liquid feeders. And yeah, there's 2 sizes here. So we have the smaller size and the larger size. Yeah, it fits. I was about to say, is there the correct amount? But there is the correct amount. So I'm just going to unbox this because I'm curious. This sounds like glass. And it is. That's interesting. It is glass tubes. That's very nice. But now what people actually want to see is what we have in here. So these are the all-new Ant Farm Supply version 2 nests. I have received a small list of all of the improvements. Can I remember them? No, but I can remember some of them, and I may just have to read through the list just to make sure I don't miss any of the headlines. Last time when I got something. We had sand all over the place in the package. I had sand everywhere. Let's see if it's the same. At least this time I'm aware that there will be sand inside. I'm just thinking something, guys. At the first version, Ant Farm Supplies used the, what are they called? Phillips head screws. And he's changed, or they have changed, over to the, wow, these are strong magnets. Ooh, look at that. That is some very strong magnets. They are not to be messed around with. But yeah, they are now using the Allen screw head. I'm unsure what they're actually correctly called. But yeah, instead of the Phillips heads, we are now getting an Allen key for the screws here. And these, of course, to mount the covers on, because the glass here, or the acrylic here, is not fixed on just yet. So we actually have to remove some tape right here, and then we have to remove the two sides. So I'll be right back once I have this outside. So the nest lid is now been removed, and as you can see, you have to peel off this when you actually get the package. Now this here is the acrylic protection. It's very static, electricity happy. Here we are. And you actually have to screw and fix on these nests yourself, which is something I didn't expect first time I unboxed it, but now I do. And that's not how to put it in, because of course we have to align with the little hole in here. So I'll just have to take this up again. But my experience this far is there's not nearly as much loose sand. There isn't actually any loose sand. The question is more, how do you actually get this out now? No, it is not, because I'm such a man. Such a man, yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. I'm such a man. Here we are, that's much better. So there's not nearly as much sand anywhere. There isn't really any sand coming out. So that's a very big improvement, because you won't have sand everywhere. Now all of these screws are just to fixing down the covers. And then I'm wondering, is this just a blocker? Because the new thing with the version 2 nest is, of course, everything is magnetic. I'm sure this is meant to be the other way, but the magnetic poles won't allow me to put it in here. Hang on a minute. So I've now been screwing in all of the different screws here to mount on the lid, and there's something quite interesting. Now I don't know if it's something that is with all Allen keys. I haven't expected it, or I haven't seen it before, but it seems that these screws here, or the, is this called a screw? I think it is. It is called that today. It's actually a little bit magnetic, which is very nice, because when you're actually putting in all of these, it helps a ton that they're magnetic, just to give you that first little millimeter to get it inside. Now last time when I did this, some of the screws, they didn't fit at all. They were just sitting there loose, and some of them were very tight. I can safely say that this time I've now constructed all 3 nests, and there haven't been any issues with them at all. Now regarding these right here that was sitting on the wrong way like this is actually on purpose, because if you just go to the next plug here, no, not that one, so turn it around, this one, they only fit a specific set. So this fits this one, and wow, that is a snug fit. That is a very strong fit. It also fits this one. So yeah, when you snap it on, it actually loosens the sand a little bit. So that is because of the magnetic poles inside of these connections. That means that either they're meant to fit here and then they can't fit here, or the other way around. Now why this is interesting is because these nests are actually meant to be connected via the magnet. So if you see here, we have an Ant Farm Supply engraved in here in the bottom. And if we just take another Ant Farm Supply nest, let's see if this works. In theory it should. We can just slide them together. What? And they're now connected. That is one modular system that sure is modular. I don't know how it fits with the different sizes and everything, but yeah, if the Ant Farm Supply is at the bottom, this now should fit up here then. It does. And that is, so it works. So this is why the magnetic poles are different. So Ant Farm Supply actually checks to make sure that all of the magnets are different poles having the different directions, because if you were to put the magnets the wrong way in, the poles would be wrong and you wouldn't be able to just snap them together like this. But this sure is modular. Now I wouldn't recommend you actually carrying it like this with ants inside, but I can actually carry everything with just one hand. It is a little bit fragile and makes sense it's all kept in place with magnets, so I wouldn't say this is something you need to do either way. But wow, I'm very impressed, to be honest. I'm really impressed. So let's look a little bit at the accessories. So this was the nest I had actually, no, that's over here. So let's grab this nest here. So with the new version 2, we have these stronger magnets. And this means that you get a safer fit. Now, first of all, you of course have the blockers here, so you can block off. And again, is this the correct way? Is this the correct one here? It was, perfect. And now we also have these right here. So this here is a little humidity sensor in black as well. I haven't seen it in black before, so that's quite nice. It's still 22 degrees in here, which is interesting. And yeah, we have one happy guy in there. And because everything is magnetic, this just clicks on as well. So it's now measuring inside, and it is, as you can see, it's very strong. You can carry almost the entire nest by this, so it's very strong, which is very nice. Now, personally, over the years, I have had my ups and downs. Rather, I believe in sensors like so. We actually have to peel this off. Oh, lovely. I'm a little bit up and down. Rather, I think these are good to have or not. I would say they're always just pointing towards the humidity and the heat. I've tried a ton of different sensors. At one point, I had 5 sensors, all from the same company, laid up next to each other, and none of them gave the same result. They gave a plus minus of 4 degrees. That is a ton, because one of them was 22, while the last one was 26. What I'm saying with this is a lovely gimmick. And it's definitely a good idea to get if you want like a raw estimation. But I think the way I'll use these is I'll put one in, then I'll see what it says, and then I'll swap it with the other one and see if it says the same. If it doesn't say, I mean, we can actually look right here. They say pretty much the exact same thing right now. Both saying 22 degrees and having pretty much the same humidity. But still, this is something you should never completely and utter trust. It is only a guideline pointing towards how to actually measure. Now, another thing, I'm guessing these small holes we have here is where the humidity and the heat actually gets measured. So if I put my finger here, I'm guessing it goes crazy quite quick. Or, well, it doesn't go crazy, but this sensor, the little probe is in here. Now, the ants may just put sand on this, rendering the main function of this useless, because if the ants just put sand here, I don't know why they would though, but they can. But I don't think it would be an issue, because why would the ants put sand there? So I'm a fan of the snapping. Now there's a few other things to mention. Now in here is where you hydrate the nest. You put water in here in the little reservoir, and it gets sucked up into the nest. Now if you just look around the water reservoir, is it called gypsum or plaster? The plaster, I think it is. It's actually a little bit thicker, and that's because when there's an airflow from a direct hole right here, the ants may sometimes sense that, and they may start to dig in the plaster. And therefore, that's been reinforced with a little bit of extra protection all the way around. Now, I still don't see any steel meshes or anything inside, but I mean, unless it's something that people have issues with, potentially it's not needed. But yeah, I don't see any steel meshes, so I still think the ants can just over time dig their way through. Although I can't say they will, but it is a risk that can potentially happen. But yeah, I'm really impressed here looking at all of this. I will again move all of my Noa Mesa Coccorelli into this nest system, and it will be very interesting to measure the humidity difference if I only hydrate one nest. So now that we actually have, I have a plug there, so we can actually just do it like this, do it like so. Put this here, yes, put it like here. This is fun to play around with. And this way we can actually measure the difference if I only hydrate this nest and see how much humidity actually travels all the way over to this sensor. At least get a little bit of an indication. Now, the other thing I had as a concern last time is my heating cable actually didn't fit in the hole here. It was too small. Whether this has been fixed or not, we'll have to wait and see. I think it looks a little bit bigger. It was meant for like a flat heat cable, and it is a lot more round now. So it'll be interesting to see if this has changed or not, which will come later on when I'm actually putting everything together. But a first look here at all of the mess I've created, I am very positively surprised. Again, the Nova Mesa Cockerelli will be connected via, hang on, can this then connect both ways? It cannot. So this is actually also, of course, directional. No, so it's the one over here. Yes. Okay. I'm a little bit tempted to say, like, what if this doesn't fit these two where you want them to be? So I only got one, but it may just be because I just got a little test version. But I think it should include two versions. I don't know if this is an accessory you purchase separately, but I think if you were to have this, you should have two versions, because right now, if I were to connect one of these two sides, I actually can't. I can only use these two sides over here. Either way, of course, the correct shoe to use is, of course, the ones that Ant Farm Supply supplies. Ant Farm Supply supplies this shoe for you to use. And this simply just pushes in right here. So this has also been a lot more snug fit. In the first nest, it was a little bit more loose, and this is now a lot more snug. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting all of this into testing. So I just read the differences between version 1 and version 2, and I think I have hit pretty much the main things. It is mentioned that the screws here, instead of it just being a hole, it's actually a little bit of a, like, it's easier to put in. If we just say, instead of the hole being like this, it is like this. So it's easier to get the screw in from a little bit of a different angle. I didn't notice it. I mean, it wasn't hard for me to fix everything in, so it was easy. Rather, it's because I'm just good, or if it's or if it's because it's changed. It's hard to tell. The screws were very easy to get in. Also, a nice little small thing here. Remove that. If you need to change the battery, you can just push it out here, and this sensor can pop out. So it's always nice that you're actually able to change the battery. Now, just like with everything, because these magnets have the different poles, this one fits very snug on here, which would make sense because if you read the logo, this is the way the nest is meant to be oriented, and from supplies, and you can read directly into it. But because these two sides have the same orientation, the magnets click very nicely on here. But over here, it is a similar issue where this over here is actually, it's not strong. I wouldn't do this because this is, yeah, you can't make sure that this is escape proof. So yeah, these have to once again be put here on the top, which again also makes sense because you are reading from here, so it makes sense that they would be placed up here. So this has been my little first look at the version 2 nests. I'll come with an update later on once I've moved my Nova Mesa Cockerelli fully into this setup. I'm looking forward to seeing how they will do. They have done extremely well in the first one, and I love looking at them in the first one. I will say you are getting some very large nests here, but you are also getting a lot of space that's actually not used because you have these natural chambers. It's just something to bear in mind that you may actually, if you are limited on space, if you go for an artificial looking nest, you may get more room for the same size. And that's because we have the natural chambers. But I think aesthetically they look very cool, and I like having natural chambers, so it's just a little thing to bear in mind. But I'll close off all the exits, I'll put on my door, and I'll go in and move my Nova Mesa Cockerelli into this setup. Okay, hang on, let me just interrupt Holleufer, who's in the middle of doing an outro. How rude of me, I know, I'm sorry. But I have just carried the nest inside. Check out this clip. Okay, there is something that feels really wrong about holding your nest like this, but it's working. And now that they're inside, this is of course the old version, this is the new one. I've had a little time to think about, also, by the way, look how massive this is. Like, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Gen 4 WaKooshi products, and it's pretty much the same size. I guess it's bigger than 5, that's what I want to say. So I'm unsure if I've actually managed to mention how incredibly strong these magnets are. Sorry, here I just had to look where I'm pulling. You can also see here on a little bit of the finer details that 3D printing is having a little bit of a hard time, just like with the old version. But to be honest, this like cracking 3D printing is not a major issue. It's just like look-wise, and I think as again, Ant Farm Supply is a relatively new store, and as he makes more and more nests, well, these minor things will be fixed, because it's how to dial in the 3D printer properly. I don't know, I'm not a 3D printing man, but these magnets are hella strong. They are very strong, which is lovely, because it gives you a safe connection. However, I just sent a message to Ant Farm Supplies, and it's a little bit hard to say what to do, but I think somehow it would be cool if you had like an orientation direction on these, because I can just see myself going over in my message drawer all the way in there, finding 5 of these connectors, putting all 5 on to just find out it's the wrong polarization, and I have to go over and dig for the next one. Oh, is this one? Nope, over there, dig. Of course, this would still happen, but if there were some sort of marking, so you could see if this was the correct one. It's hard to say how he should do it or how it can be done, but potentially a little bit of feedback. Are you looking in my curtains? How naughty of you. Potentially something to look at. But unlike last episode, or unlike last unboxing, I don't have anything whatsoever like major to say. Unboxing was nice. There wasn't sand everywhere. It's a nice product inside, and I'm just looking forward to testing it. Again, the Mesa Cockerelli is now split between the white tongue nest and the old version nest. This being the old version 1 nest. And yeah, first of all, you can see the ants are loving it, and there's just so many workers in here, which is lovely. And secondly, you can see how this was with the Phillips head before. And this here is what I mentioned, that this here is just out on the magnets. But yeah, these were not tight at all, and they have been much more tight in here with the new one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this all into testing and seeing how it works. Back to outro, Alexander. If you want to check out Ant Farm Supplies, there will be a link in the description, and potentially even a discount for you, also mentioned down in the description. Let me just see if I can get one of those, because I know you want it. So with that being said, thank you all very much for watching this video. Thank you for Ant Farm Supplies for sending this package out, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!